our third all-important deciding map. Both teams' tournaments potentially on the line as FPX and OG get it done. As expected, FPX, after winning the knife, will be electing to go the CT side, and some early aggression in apps will allow them to peek through to second mid and see if maybe they can try and lock a player down or two. But FPX, they're not going to come up against any of OG just yet because they're actually double stacking over on Banana and actually stacking up Valda to have a peek over the half wall.
Yeah, this is, OG just... Okay. Hello. Speaking to Zen from earlier, he's absolutely nailed him. That's a tough pill to swallow if you're OG. Like, you're setting up pretty passive, you're anticipating aggression, you're just trying to, kind of dip your toe in the water of the round, so to speak, and then you have a guy just kind of step out and absolutely destroy you.
Yeah, and hot off the back of FPX obviously taking the second map and keeping that speed moving forward. That's a beautiful way to kick things off. And now OG will be lining up their grenades, forced with their backs against the wall to come out swinging. Smoke's now being put in. Molotov behind the new box, and Madden is burning. He's burning alive. He needs to get out of there. And he may be baited by Sunny. And if Sunny can get some kills, it'll be worthwhile. But he instantly gets decapitated by Alexi. And in doing so, OG have taken control of the site. Post-plant comes in. The smoke will be fading in just a few moments. And Zen, who was hoping to find a player transitioning to the backside of the site, there's now 3 of them in there. And without any incendiary, it's going to be so difficult to move them out of position. They don't even have flashbangs that they can toss in either. Basically, these 2 players for OG, unless they trip over each other, this should be a done deal. This should be locked in. Alexi B pushes the one giant step towards the win. And there is another one. Stiko tries he may on 12 HP. He is living on borrowed time, and Valda will put the last nail in the coffin. OG claimed first blood on Inferno.
Yeah, full house of frags between Valda and Alexa B. Even with the opening pick, FPX fold to just a heavy B taken. On pistol rounds where utility is going to be a little bit more scarce, the fact that they not only had the basic smokes you need, but they also had the incendiary to push out new box was so massive. Could have basically shut down the crossfire that was going to be attempted in those back halls. They were hoping to, kind of lay in wait as OG commit to the site, and then they could come out and strike together. But that incendiary or Molotov from OG really just put a wrench in things, and they could never really recover from it. Now we see a triple man aggression here from FPX over on the B side, but they're kind of getting whittled down themselves by utility from OG. They do find one onto Alexa B, though. A nice nade is going to soften him up quite a bit, but Alexa B able to escape. Meanwhile, Hall's being taken by OG.
Yeah, Apps is being scourged by T's. They're looking to push. Oh, Nico in midair takes Farlig out the equation, doubles up onto Stiko. I thought Farlig was going to just one-tap him as he leapt through the sky, but instead, OG have the player advantage. It will be another post-plant. This time it's over on the A side, and they're letting Valda actually push up Banana. Now, I'm surprised at this, Dust, because he has one of the AK-47s. He actually only has the only rifle. So if he loses this in itself can be a bit of a body blow.
Yeah, that is true. Like, this would normally be something you would think one of the MAC-10s would do, because obviously they want to farm as much cash as they can by maybe overextending a bit and just trying to see if they can't print some extra money. But yeah, they're the ones that are just kind of sitting on the A site with the bomb to make sure that no Ninja Diffuse, whether that comes into play, which of course we can see will not be the case. Valda certainly not committing to site, though. He's definitely staying at the half wall, so looks like everything should roll over just fine for OG. So they will go ahead and jump up to 2-0 off the back of winning the pistol. But now FPX are in a bit of a bind here. They still can't afford a whole lot here, so it's just going to be the pistols that they were able to save over. And just 3 of them, I might add. So looking like OG are well on their way to finding a third. And again, these MAC-10s will have another chance to try to farm more cash up against the low resource of FPX.
OG mixing up the pace again, getting aggressive towards top Banana. Out comes Madden alone, and he is dealt the fatal blow. Now, Valda can just hold his position, doesn't have to play too aggressively. Decides to just make sure that top Banana is secure. They're not sure if anyone's behind sandbags. That molly allows them that information that has now been gathered, so they can focus their attention elsewhere. And already, a great pivot point for OG. Yes, you're against pistols, but it's important that you get this done as cleanly as possible and you get your head back on track.
Yeah, exactly. It's about, getting the confidence, getting, your head back right after taking the loss. And like you said, you wanted to make sure you're setting up your economy long term, so don't want to leave any stones unturned, get a little bit sloppy, give FPX a chance to whittle you down a little bit and force, you know, rebuys on these AKs on Nico and Valda, for example. Obviously, the MAC-10's a bit more expendable, though. Zin playing an up-close angle on Boiler, which could be a problem if it goes unchecked, but he actually peeks into Issa instead. And so that's the first MAC-10 coming out. A now wide open, though OG don't know it just yet as they're getting flanked by 3 players.
Valda nearly ripped in for a second, but that's the only casualty that OG have sustained. It was a rifle, though, and it's down at the bottom of the middle, so maybe FPX could get their hands on top of it. That's why Sunny is sticking around this area maybe a little bit too long. But plus, they know they have a buy into the next round regardless, so it's not as if they necessarily want to really hold on to this Deagle that desperately. The armor for Sunny is worth a whole lot more. And now Stiko tries to put some more bullets down range, does get picked off from the MAC-10 wielding Issa, and Sunny goes in aggressively. That's just the MAC-10. That's not going to be ideal for him. But if he can get a kill with the MAC-10, honestly, that prints enough cash that it will allow him a better buy into the next round. So It may be a decent sort of takeout of this round after all.
Yeah, I think he would commit after clock to see if he can't come in and grab another kill at that MAC-10 and maybe even try to find an upgrade in middle or something along those lines. But I think the 2 AKs are well out of reach at this point. There's just going to be Issa on the stairs with the MAC-10, taking a duel with them, and he will win that fight. So more money for Issa, thanks to that MAC-10 headshot. We should be seeing the upgrades come into play here from OG. AKs across the board, except for Issa. No, never mind. He's throwing the MAC-10 over to Nico, actually, interestingly enough. Curious to see how they want to implement it. As of course, the op is going to be in play for Far League right away and rifles for everyone else for FPX.
Yeah, that is quite curious because Issa had the better spawn, but obviously deciding that Nico can be the more expendable player, pushing in. Madden tagged down to 43. Early doors over on the B side as they try to take some banana control. We don't have the full utility, as Rushley's pro tip suggested. They only sent 2 players over and not 3, but same result at the end of the day.
Yeah, Farley, though, taking the op into apartments the first round, he has it and gets an opening pick on an unexpected Issa. It's not as if oppers never peek apartments. It is one spot they will try, but to see it on the very first round is definitely something that you probably wouldn't expect. Certainly is going to catch Issa off guard, and that's a free opening for FPX. Maiden is going to be low on HP. That's one thing kind of working against FPX, as we are going to see OG now looking to commit here to a B hit, but the smokes and counter utility from FPX might just slow them down and maybe even force them to reconsider. But seeing as they have no presence at middle right now, which Farley is actually holding the angle with the op, it seems like they are still going to have to commit here. They just got to wait the utility out. And indeed, it seems to be the case.
Moving into the stack, though. Littered with plenty of threats, plenty of issues. Big entry, though, from Mantu, but that is the only kill they've picked up as of yet. And Madden can stay perched up on the box. It's a difficult position to deal with, but Alexi just takes the fight to him. And that's because they had smoked off coffins in CT. It afforded them that luxury. They're still not completely out of this round. And keep in mind, the economy of the CTs is still in rough shape. But Zen on the coffins is going to pounce with his FAMAS. 3-1.
Yeah, he had already gotten past the spot that got Molotovs. He was able just to kind of sit and wait the smoke out and then find the perfect opportunity to disrupt things. Tough round for OG to lose a player like that in apps, and again, they get forced to make a play into B, but because Farley was able to control brackets with an op, and obviously would get perfect information on if OG tried to commit there, they were able to have that 3-man B stack pretty safely. He could have easily called for a rotation whenever he needed it by falling back. So just good play there from FPX.
Flashes, Sunny already fully blinded and fully wrecked by Issa and Alexi. That's B site that falls with them. There's no third player stack over that. And Zen is having to move into position with Stiko. Meanwhile, Farley is slowly edging his way through CT spawn. Might be another one of those situations where because of the money situation, FunPlus Phoenix aren't too interested in this. So it was like speculative, you know, they were like, yeah, maybe we'll go. We'll flirt with the idea of actually, now we'll just pull back. We need to save these guns. It's way more important.
Yeah, with the way the loss bonus is situated right now and what money they have left over after the win-loss, not really a chance to go for this. They need to make sure they save these 3 weapons to make sure they have a full buy into the next round. So OG will quickly come back to winning ways just off of a scramble at top banana where they trade 2 for 1 and waste no time capitalizing on that exchange. Really well done. Getting some good entries out of all their players right now, really. It's good to see them have a hot start if you're an OG fan. Farlig obviously kind of flexing his muscles a little bit with the AWP already this game. Zen already at his 4 kills as well with Sunny. So both sides still very much in contention, but OG are certainly getting off to the hot start that they were hoping for. And again, they kind of have FPX's economy in a weird place. FPX will buy what they can around the 3 weapons that they save, but you can see it's going to leave them a little bit barren if things don't go right here on a couple of their players, particularly Maiden, who's only at 350 bucks. Sicko and Sunny just, you know, barely around the 1500 range. Farlig, well under.
Farlig had a good spawn to peek down Banana, but they decided against it, which he got his only kill through aggression on apps. Since then, he's been kept pretty quiet. I'm curious at what point he unshackles himself, because he is a pretty aggressive warper. He does like to get chaotic and take teams out of their comfort zone, but at the moment it feels like OG have done a very good job of just kind of suppressing him and not really letting him flourish.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where based on the money the way that it is, they know how valuable that op is, and risking it for an early pick may have just, you know, not really been in the cards in their mindset, which is totally understandable. So you are going to see OG putting no banana presence down. They're actually going quick up A, and actually they picked the right time to do it because it's triple B stack, and no one's rotated off of it yet, FPX.
Oh, and Zen gets pummeled through the smoke as well, which puts more pressure on Stiko. Nice shot onto Mantu. Posted up in middle, but he already knows that A site has been razed to the ground, and that bomb will be planted momentarily. The off angle from Valdo, waiting and anticipating the rotation to come in. The up shot misses from Farlig, but isn't fully punished. 3v3, Sticko has the positional advantage. However, because he got a kill in middle, they'd have a good idea that his position could very well be situated in apps. So I doubt the OG fall for this. They have Issa, who's in pit, that's likely looking up towards the balcony side, maybe mollied off by Stiko. Now, Molly has extended, so Issa has to move out, and in doing so, gives himself away, but still drills into the head of Stiko. Knew exactly where he was coming from, and FPX, once again, have to just tuck their tail between their legs and get the hell out of there.
Yeah, saving this op and AK is an absolute necessity at this point. Again, their money is just in such a fragile state and has been for a couple of rounds now. Meanwhile, OG are flourishing at this point. They're up 5-1. They have plenty of reserve cash in the bulk of their players. They survived with 3 in this round. Got a bit concerned when Valda kind of extended a little bit more into spawn when his team already had a 4-on-3 and they hadn't yet even planted the bomb. But I guess he thought escaping through Arch may not be possible. If there was a player inside library, he would get caught. So he decided to keep playing in spawn. He detects there's 2 players there, so that's great information for the rest of his team in the 3-on-3 post plant. And they're able to come up with the victory. So again, OG are just kind of flying through this T-side Inferno thus far.
And no signs of slowing down either. That will be a concerning state of affairs on FunPlus Phoenix. It's down to them to build the barricade, and Zen has done that. Clotheslines Lexi in midair, shuts him out of the round, and funnels OG into apps.
That was a big commitment there from Alexa B with no real follow-up behind it. A lot of bark and no bite from OG on that opener. And they're now stuffed at apartments as well. So they're having to just kind of wait out these smokes. Again, they have no presence at B. So they kind of have to just keep committing to A side unless they want to take a risk and try to double back and flash their way back into Banana late. But I'm not sure. It looks like they just want to waterfall out apartments at this point, which is going to be tough. Sicko has a dangerous angle to cover this location.
The timing's so brutal, but he still survived, and Madden really helps him out. Bodyguard Stiko from just getting run down, chewed up and spat out by OG. That's a huge crossfire that's just saved them so much pain. And they may still concede another player in the form of Sunny if he's not careful. Mantu may have him dead to rights. Could come down to timing. He has his back turned, and actually Sunny's just dipped in towards the bridge anyway, so he may bypass all of this threat.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. Looks like Mantu's not really going to find anything here other than maybe saving onto this AK-47. Big round there from FPX. Because they had Farlig's op position at top Banana, able to have vision all the way down, they were able to confidently keep that crossfire in place on the apartment side while knowing that their other teammate could keep tabs on Archway. And while you might fear the worst for Sicko because he had to pull out an incendiary right at the wrong time, Maiden was there to cover him, and that was all that mattered. And Mantu, of course, unable to save the AK there, is going to get caught out. And yeah, again, this got me a little bit concerned, but Maiden was there, as you said, to play Guardian Angel. And so that's a second round for FPX, but they need to string together more than one in a row, Vince. Like, they can't keep winning one here and there.
Yeah, precisely. And even within the confines of that round, it nearly went pear-shaped. Had it not have been for Madden's double kill, Spray helping Sticko out, that could have been a whole different situation coming to light. Farlig aggression. Ooh. I was waiting for this, waiting to see him take the initiative. Maybe it was based off spawns. He's had a lot of pretty trashy spawns. And the second he gets a good one for mid, he uses it and he makes the most of it.
Not only that, but they get apartments control with it as well. So not only do OG lose a player at middle and get the non-access to brackets, but they also don't even get apartments control. And this is kind of forcing them to, you know, try to play off the back of this at B, but they're getting shut down there as well. They're getting slowed down by utility. We're already starting to see a rotation from Sticko over to the archway. Same with Zen to be those quick rotators if need be to help reinforce that B side. As we are going to see OG setting up smokes, but again, the counter utility from FPX is going to keep bogging OG down, it looks like. And they're just going to wait out this last smoke, and then they'll commit their utility on site. They do have a couple of Molotovs as well for Oranges and New Box. Looks like we are going to see a boost from FPX here on the window, and they're going to kind of be playing a little bit more for a retake because of that, though they will maintain control of construction.
Smoke's coming down a little bit too late, though, and they'd already proceeded to push. The flashes didn't really have as much effect as they were hoping for, and now Sonny can bull back to New Box, where a Molly is there waiting for him. Another flashbang up and over. This utility is absolutely on point from FPX, and it's kept OG stuck in the pool. They may be about to drown by bullets if they're not careful, because the smoke is now fading. Alexi nearly transitions for a double spray.
They still have no idea.
Velda. Say again, sorry?
I thought they didn't have any idea about this player in dark, but now they do.
They realize it. With 10 seconds to go, Velda has to go in for some kills. The spray is labored, but doesn't really matter. There's 5 seconds to play with, and he just has to save the AK-47. So FPX have finally got 2 together.
Yeah, I mean, basically OG's Molotov at New Box got real useless because they were never able to catch Sonny coming out of it because they were having to constantly focus on players at Coffin and CT side. So just great job by FPX getting some impact off the boost, always maintaining control of construction, allowing Sonny to maintain the back of the site to where OG could never lay claim to it. And that's a big victory for FPX because it finally gets OG into a saving territory. They are the ones now coming in with little to work with. Just that 1 AK and a Tech 9, and that's about it. I mean, look at Nate, it's so aggressive here at middle.
Plays that I'm looking for from a player of his stature, but he's got to have the aim alongside it. We know he can drill those rounds, he can win them single-handedly, but it may have done more damage than it's worth. It's completely backfired. They've lost 2 players straight away, and now some of those rifles have been picked up by the T, so they're using them against Zen. He has to try and hold the line by himself, but he just gets pummeled through the smoke with a flashbang alongside it. That is the other side of FPX and Madden in a nutshell. Sometimes it's genius, and sometimes it's lunacy.
I believe the correct expression would be, that ain't it, Chief. It does seem wild to me that you would go for a haymaker like that when you finally actually have OG up against the ropes economically. Like, you're the ones playing from behind, you're finally getting your footing, you finally have OG on low weaponry, and that's the round you decide to push an M4 all the way down middle. That just seems a bit odd to me. Maybe they didn't have the right read on OG's economy. Maybe they just felt like they could get away with it because there would be low weapons, and that's the perfect time to strike and try to, you know, rattle OG a little bit or something like that. Either way, it has completely backfired. OG will survive with all 5 players. They will pick up some free M4s. And any hope at stringing some rounds together has been absolutely thwarted by OG in that one. As they will jump up to 6-3, FPX. Still able to have the full buy here. But I guess Zen might be a little bit limited. We are going to have a pause. Not sure if this is technical or what. We did have a tech earlier on in the series, so maybe seeing that again here. I don't see anyone having called a tactical.
Yeah, Zen's yet to buy anything, which makes me think that it may very well be a technical issue. I can hear typing as well on the server, so that would certainly be our second clue to that being the case. And I agree. I mean, I don't necessarily have an issue with the idea of playing aggressively down middle, even against pistols, but you'd at least think that they either push down Banana simultaneously or they have a second player push with Madden. They're just having him alone by himself. Like, best case scenario, he probably gets 1, maybe 2 kills. Even then, it's possible OG frag him, and that's an extra rifle that goes along their way. It just gives them a chance back in for no reason to me.
Yeah, I think the risk versus reward ratio is a bit skewed in that situation, exactly as you said. course, we had a little bit of a gift of hindsight, obviously, but I think even if you assess it objectively, like you kind of see it that way too. But either way, we are right back to the mix. At least the tech pause is short. Full buys for both sides. OG, again, still out in front. Looking to try to establish a little bit of banana control here early on. Nades and Molotovs, incendiaries being exchanged. No one really gaining much ground. In the meantime, apartments being taken by Issa and Nico.
I've had a lot of success in apps getting early control, and FPX have had a couple of speculative efforts. We saw Farley get a pick from there earlier on, very early in the half. I think that was in the 3rd round, the first time he had the AWP. Other than that, though, it's been by and large fairly barren from FPX in the apps. So OG, they're getting a lot of free map control. It's a nice re-peek from Farlig, but does he peek one too many times? A 1-for-1 trade may not be good enough for the CTs. They need more behind this. Madden's hiding in the smoke, but his teammate's gone down, and now he will strike. Pivot in for 1. And a second, they're looking good with his crossfire, but his teammate, the Sticko's gone down. And Mini picked that spray transfer, the correction just at the end. The stray bullet hits Nico in the head. It's a 1-on-2 clutch. Antu is edging back towards Graveyard, and Madden comes out with the AWP. It's a 4K for him, and a round that just looks so grim for FPX when they lost Farlig on Arches.
Yeah, I mean, a 1-for-1 trade for OG up Archway and taking the Opera down, certainly massive, but Maiden finds the correct timing coming through the smoke at Arch, getting the kill in the backside of Alda, and then winds up with the quad kill when it's all said and done to win out the round for FPX. Like you said, it was kind of a dodgy round, but especially when Issa got that second entry on his end. But again, Maiden finds a great timing here to get these 2 kills. They were so focused on clearing out the site that Maiden was able to slip in and just have so much impact. Gets basically almost doubles his frag count for the whole map right then and there. So maybe that's enough to get him alive, get him going.
FPX now up to 4, but OG already in a decent position on their T-half, all things considered. Even if they did concede the rest of these rounds, it would be a bit of pill to swallow, but at least 6 rounds on T side is completely doable. Not the end of the world at all. So already sitting pretty. Farlig, 3 kills to his name. It does feel like each and every one of those kills has been vastly impactful, but again he gets caught out in the open. Zen pushes the smoke past Valda, then gets punished, and Stico up on the balcony, not for the first time, is having to do everything by himself. He's having to somehow hold the site while everything else has been erased to the ground. And Sunny may get the drop timing onto Valda. Indeed he does. The HP advantage now actually edging in favor of FunPlus Phoenix.
Yeah, it's looking pretty good for them. They do have a smoke and an HE grenade to put to use as well. And Sticko still has control of the apartments, which means that OG have a lot of angles to be responsible for all at once. They have to kind of just tuck tail and play passive. That smoke's going to isolate the player in sight.
Coming in, time is ticking away, and they've got the last 2 frags. Will there be enough time, though, once the Molotov fades? Will they die to the Molotov? They had very close 1 HP left for Sunny, and that may have been good enough to save the round, and it is! 1 HP and 9 on the 2 of them. Calculate it.
Bro, I can't believe it's come down to that. 1 HP, because they knew they couldn't fully wait the Molotov out, and somehow Sunny calculates it down to a single sliver of health to ensure that he get the defuse in time. I don't know whether it's luck, whether it's calculated. He got it, though. That's so wild, man. I can't recall another time I've actually seen it come down to 1 HP trying to defuse through a Molotov like that. That's so crazy.
What a time as well. You look at
I
the
know.
money. You look at the situation at hand, Dust. Like, that could have been a ridiculous half going the way of OG, and now FPX, they've got a real chance to mount a good half of their own on the CT side. They can maybe pick up a 9-6 half. That would be pretty decent.
Certainly, surely getting a 6th round here and tying it up based on the economy that OG have to work with, as long as they don't make a big error and kind of let OG slide back into the rounds they did the last time they had OG up against the ropes like this. I mean, the sad thing is OG actually played that round out pretty well. Like, it was a good take, good trading efficiency, good side control, and then it just comes down to that. Even a smart choice to put the Molotov on the bomb, knowing that things were getting kind of dire and you were going to get isolated in a 2-on-2. Yeah, Sony just slips in there and gets the job done. Again, doesn't always have to be pretty, as FPX are now well in contention again.
real roller coaster of a best of 3 is now going heavily in favor of FPX, at least for this round. We didn't expect a great deal with the kind of assortment of weaponry that OG had, and it's gone as well as it could have for FPX. And Nico, well, he gets wall banged by Farley, because why not?
Why not? I mean, they got run to the blender there, man. I don't know if we're sponsored by like Ninja or something like that, like the blender company, but that is what happened there. A perfect ice crutch cycle. It's going to put us at a tie game, 6 apiece. Money is going to be back, though, for OG, though it's still not ideal. They have a Galil for Valda, a Mac-10 for Alexa B, so it's still not the fully equipped team, but good enough. And, man, FPX are going heavy-handed at B to kick this round off.
Farley aggression down middle, not for the first time, and it's the same result. Picks off Man2, drops the bomb down. A lot of information. They stack 4 players early on as well, by the way. So if Farley dies, the A site is absolutely wrecked in the process. That pick is huge, and it gives them enough intel to trade off 3 of those 4 players over on B towards the A site and bolster up their defenses.
Yeah, that was a really risky call by FPX, but has certainly paid dividends, as now they're able to shuffle back into a 4-man A defense. Sunny still has a smoke to stall out B if need be. Maiden's in kind of a crazy spot here, but he's got coverage with Farley behind with the AWP. Gonna be a tough one to fight back from if you're OG. They're gonna try to actually double back over to Banana side. Not a bad call, but look at Maiden sneaking through, catching Nico, lining up a smoke, but Valda there to cover the push for him, gets it back to even numbers.
Oh no, and Nico's gone in with another one. How Madden wishes he had any gun apart from the MP9 there. If he has an M4, I'm sure he gets the kill cleanly and just backs out. And it's probably the round that goes with him. Instead, though,
fake.
It's 6-6, and there is a fake down. Instantly, FPX have fell for this one. They've bit down hook, line, and sinker. They traded away Farlig. This leaves it all on Stiko. Now he's got the off-angle graveyard. Maybe this could prove to be the difference maker as Stiko comes in. 1 kill and tons of damage onto Alexi, who's been finished off, but with 10 seconds, there's enough time for the plant. It's another 2-on-2 post-plant, though, and there is enough utility to at least fend away FPX for a while. I wonder if FPX decide to save at this stage, because so much time is wasted by that smoke. And they're not sure where the T's currently reside. They do have a kit. They've got a flash that's now been tossed out. They're going for it. They want this round. And it's going to cost them at least 1 player, potentially both of them. Maybe Sunny can escape and salvage the AK-47. But that's yet to be decided. And Alyssa has made that decision. And he makes it with an AK round delivered first class.
Yeah, a great round there once again from OG. They were able to use their numbers advantage based on catching Maiden at middle and catching another pick at mid to sell a great fake at B that FPX really had no choice but to respect with an over-rotation. And it created that gap OG needed to get on site. A great fight from Sticko and Farley to get a couple of kills and get it back into a 2-on-2 and get themselves a fighting chance, but OG able to hold on this time around and take that lead back.
MP9 on Sunny this time as he plays up close over on Banana. Flash up and over. 2 players on Boiler. Bit unorthodox for the time being of FPX, and Sunny may be called upon momentarily. This is where the MP9 shines. We saw the other side of the coin when Madden tried to get that longer range shot. Sunny, he's got himself 3 kills with the MP9. The SMG rips and tears through the entirety of the T's. And just like that, the bombs drop down, and any of the issues that FPX had in that previous round, they're a distant memory.
Yeah, kind of wild that OG let Sunny get that much value out of that MP9. I thought they even had top in a Molotov where they had Sunny stuck by himself, but I think as he got that second kill at Faden, he was able to get some support. I believe it was Maiden who was up close on the corner there. And that was all she wrote at that point. Like you said, just 2 members left now. Vada and Mantu really spread from each other. Obviously bombed down deep in enemy territory with no chance at being reclaimed. And so FPX will certainly tie this thing up. And look at the repercussions. OG's money is absolutely in the bin. And if FPX can survive with all 5 members and not have to repurchase a single weapon, they will be in prime position to have that lead going into the second half. As slim as it may be, it's still a great recovery considering at one point OG were up 5-1.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt at all. I think this would be a fantastic resurgence. On the other side, though, if we're putting it in the context, OG, if they only do pick up 7 rounds, it'll be decent. And Valda puts a couple more players down, a couple more bodies down, but saving 3 weapons, they're fine to repurchase. Whereas OG, they're in trouble, as you said.
And here we go. Final round of the first half. All on the line here on Inferno for a playoff spot. And OG are not going to be able to put their best foot forward in this one. They're going to buy what they can, but the best they have is a couple of MAC-10s, a Tech 9, and a couple of Deagles. They do have a little bit of utility, though, and they do have the head armor, so at least they have something to work with, but they're getting crushed again at Banana.
Aggression and Madden taking the spearhead and ramming it straight into OG. He's gone down, but the damage has been inflicted. And just like that, OG, a player behind. Stiko's using that smoke as a bit of a shroud. He's hiding on tree, and this could just be the end of the half. This could be the end of the round, going the way of FPX. He's just making sure that no one's snuck up to the top of side of Banana, but he actually dies to the hands of Alexi. He's got to get kills from that position, Stiko. He did tons of damage to Alexi and Mantu, but it's a 3-on-3.
Yeah, all of a sudden the door is cracked a little bit more open for OG and around. They really had no business winning considering what they had to work with, considering how it kicked off. But as you said, they've been able to get it back to equal numbers. Now, Alexa B and Mantu are still very vulnerable right now, and Sunny still has a dangerous angle that should be good for at least one. They will smoke CT, but Sunny knows they're not committing. He's pushing, he's getting in behind. He finds the frag onto Issa, and it seems like things should now be back under control. Sunny's able to guard B by himself. They're able to keep their defense up with Farlick holding that angle on brackets at middle to keep intel if they're going to fall back for mid control. And so I think FPX should be good to go here for an 8th, but we'll see if Alexa B or Mantu can hit a blinder here on Farlick and somehow open the round back up.
Yeah, it feels like that is the key moment now in this round. If they can deal with Farlick, maybe there's a way forward. He is watching the angle from Arches. They peek in, he nearly gets a 2-for-1. He goes back in for seconds, and he will double up. FPX will take the 8-7 lead going through to halftime. Who wins? Find out after the break.
I don't wanna go, let me stay a little more. Now talk to me, I just want a little bit of company. You acting like you really wanna fall for me, but baby, can you tell me who you wanna be? Yeah. Talk to me, I just want a little bit of company. You acting like you really wanna fall for me, but baby, can you tell me who you wanna be? Yeah.
I feel on top of the world, I feel on top of the world right now. I feel on top of the world, I feel on top of the world right now. I always wanted the world, I wanna conquer the world right now. I feel on top of the world, I feel on top of the world right now. I call the shots in the man with the plot and we only go bombs away. Ain't no one protecting my mind as a weapon, that's why I'ma dominate. Taking advantage of every second, now I ain't got time to waste. They all tryna sign my name, they want me to sign my name. Counting your blessing while I count that in my winnings. We take 50s and 100s and throw them up to the ceiling. Everything I envision, now everybody gon' witness. Only difference between us is I ain't stop till I finish. Yeah. I feel on top of the world, I feel on top of the world right now. I feel on top of the world, I feel on top of the world right now. I always wanted the world, I wanna conquer the world right now. I feel on top of the world, I feel on top of the world right now. Savage, you've been distracted, your best my average, there's a reason for that's a fact. So they snapping back, mad at the fact that I don't have a backup plan, I ain't need that. Outworking everybody when I relax, so I ain't tripping about none of y'all feedback. Heard that, wonder when I'm gonna peak at. And that's why you count your blessing while I count that in my winnings. We take 50s and 100s and throw them up to the ceiling. Everything I envision, now everybody gon' witness. Only difference between us is I ain't stop till I finish. Yeah. I feel on top of the world, I feel on top of the world right now. I feel on top of the world, I feel on top of the world right now. I always wanted the world, I wanna conquer the world right now. I feel on top of the world,
We are back into our final map of today's proceedings between OG and FunPlus Phoenix. The odds slightly in favor of FPX as they are slightly ahead coming through into the second half. But it should be mentioned that OG now will be making moves on the CT side. And we said before, it is a CT-sided map, Dust, so I feel like this is very nicely poised for a banger. We said El Clasico before, and so far it's lived up to that.
Absolutely. You couldn't ask for better on a map that means so much. Both these teams fighting for that third seed in Group A, a chance to get to the round of 12, a chance to be in those playoffs in April, where the losing side will have to enjoy it from the broadcast just like you folks are right now, which I'm sure will be a bitter pill to swallow, being this close. And here we go. FunPlus Phoenix looking to waste no time, laying in on an empty B side other than Alexa B, who's at the coffins, and he's just trying to get out of there, hold construction, and try to set up for the retake. That's the best he can hope for, but they're pressuring, and he's forced to fall even further back into CT spawn.
Yeah, this is actually huge from FPX because typically you want to have one player that can act as a pivot point on Ruins for the rest of your team to congregate with. But in doing so, they're actually pushing 4 players up Banana. This is unorthodox in terms of a retake. And keep in mind that the one kit they have is on Alexi, who's isolated by himself over on the CT side. So if he dies with the kit, as he has just done, they've got to make a move over there to pick that one up. And so much time has elapsed already that this is just completely and utterly collapsed. FPX not just take the round, but they take all the players without losing a single one in return.
Yeah, I mean, they really did call like rock against scissors in that battle right there as far as tactics, just coming into a very vulnerable B site and then not even allowing him to have that space in Ruins, as you noted, to give them an anchor point to retake from. And getting the kit down was just kind of icing on the cake at that point. So just a dominant round from FPX, perfectly called, perfectly executed. And that will give them just a slightly bigger lead as we go into second round of the half, where OG, of course, still not really able to put up much of a fight, but they will buy out what they can. Some CZs, a few Deagles. Try to see if they can't play spoiler, but a loss would certainly mean FPX would find an 11th round before OG could really get into buying ways. So FPX are in the driver's seat. How far can they take it?
Well, they're cruising for now, but OG have a couple of roadblocks in the form of CZs and Desert Eagles, 2 of which are situated over on the B side. They will be momentarily tested, and that test has been passed with flying colors, and Madden has put a bullet through the head of Valda. Alexi holds the line for 1, but he's caught in an awkward position, and down he goes to the MAC-10. FPX already looking good to hit their double-digit mark, and I'm not sure that OG necessarily want to throw too many of these guns away because, again, keep them, use them in the next round.
Yeah, basically recycle what you did here, try again. That'll be a 10th round for FPX. Looks like the MAC-10's not going to go hunting either from the side of Sunny, though he is positioning himself over kind of back towards T-spawn. So depending on how far back OG dropped to save these pistols, he could wind up catching them, but it seems like they're staying in A side itself. So unless Sunny really wants to spring out there, they should be able to hold on to these Deagles and CZ, as well as the accompanying armor and the smoke and flash. And indeed, that is how it will play out. FPX comes into round 18, very much the favorite to find an 11th. Keep building that lead up, and again, a match that means oh so much to both these squads, who are both kind of in the midst of restructuring, but would certainly still love to have the playoffs to play for along the way.
Yeah, those playoffs would be huge for either of these teams to pick up. 2-2 in the groups at the moment. I've had a couple of surprise upset results against Big. Said earlier that was quite a surprise at the time. That's a big incendiary, or Molotov I should say, over on the T side, plus HG's gonna weaken up those players, and Sunny just comes straight through with a MAC-10. Doesn't even lose a single point of health in the process, by the way. That was clean. OG now in a post-plant. CZ, P250. No Kevlar between the 3 of them, and no grenades. So it's absolutely worthwhile when you know a buy is coming up next round to position yourself in spots where maybe you can get an exit frag or 2. And just put a bit more strain on the economy of the T's. And if you can save like an AK or a Galil, that's just going to bolster up your buy that little bit more. So I wouldn't be too surprised if we see OG at least try and flirt with the idea of taking some of these players down. Can also act this as a mini tactical timeout as well for the next round when they are going to have full rifles at their disposal. But either way, Dust, it is going to be an 11-7 lead. Whichever way you spin it, FPX now are starting to cruise towards potentially that 16-round mark.
And they're building a lot of bank along the way. They didn't really suffer many casualties. I mean, they survived this round with all 5, and they already had a couple of Galils in play. So it's not even like a true bonus round other than the MAC-10 that's still going to be sitting on Sunny. And they have plenty of reserve cash going forward. So they're set up quite nicely for the long term here of this half. Meanwhile, OG obviously get the full buy here, but if this doesn't work, they're right back to saving most likely. That's where FPX jump up to 13. And now you get like one more shot after that. So this is a really big round for OG. If they don't want to come down to the last second, it has to happen now. As Mantu's looking to be assertive here at middle with that AWP, but not finding anything just yet. But he's hanging around. Now forced back.
Forced back into position. Counter grenades now being tossed in. 1 minute 30. And OG starting to pull back onto the site. So in a fairly brisk amount of time, FPX have already taken a bit of control over apps and a bit of control over top middle. And it's going to definitely make OG a bit uncomfortable.
Sure, but it's also burnt a lot of their utility, and they don't have much left over, and they didn't even really force OG to scramble too much. They're still holding position for the most part. Now, Valde's in a tricky little spot here, but he gets his man and a second, and now things are looking quite grim for FPX.
Smoke extinguishing the Molotov instantly as they desperately try to cling on to banana control. And so far, OG have repelled the push, but they still have to contend with Farlig and Stiko, who will look to be unshackled and unchained and indeed unleashed. But they'll have to wait a bit longer because they're actually isolated from one another. Farlig is still watching middle,
right?
Maybe anticipating a flank to come into play, which of course it isn't for the time being on OG.
Yeah, again, they threw such a heavy feint at A to not really gain so much off of it, and then Valda just plays that spot to perfection. A risky spot, but he was able to get some support from a flash inside to linger around and find himself a third before finally going down. Now FPX are trying to see what they can force through with their low numbers. They do find one entry here onto B, but they still have to worry about the player in the back. Looks like it's going to be Alexa B, and the clock is very much against them.
That's a great flashbang tossed in. And that finishes off Stiko, who is already low. Farlig with 6 seconds to go. If he's going to plant the bomb, he has to stick it. And he tries to draw out the players into the open. Oh, that was so close. The transition on that spray nearly took the head clean off of Mantu. And even though FPX lose, the financial damage they just did is significant.
Oh, absolutely. It keeps OG in essentially the same spot where the first loss they take is going to immediately be a save, and FPX will still be able to jump up to that number 13. But OG have bought a little bit of breathing room. But as you said, I mean, look at what it's causing here. They're having to buy a couple of MP9s and a FAMAS on Valda. So, I mean, they are in a really dark place when it comes to funding. But that was a big round victory nonetheless, thanks to Valda.
Even with the W's that they are picking up, it is far from ideal.
Sure.
But this is a chance to cartwheel themselves into close proximity of FPX. FPX come right through with AKs, and when you look at their overall finances behind it as well, they can afford next round.
Yep.
So there's no easy way forward for OG.
And this time they're able to get mid control without having to spend nearly as much utility as they did the previous round, so they kind of learn from that mistake, make sure they still have stuff left over when need be. Now they're trying to challenge it to Arch. They have pushed Issa off. They are taking it now. They smoked him out. He can only spam and pray that something lands, while his 2 teammates in sight are a bit isolated, though. Mantu's still holding a nice little angle here towards middle. Could still play spoiler.
That's a shot he should be landing. And Zen punishes Valda. Issa straight back in. Issa has been tagged though, and it's the MP9 at this range. Good luck, Nico. You better throwing insults at him than that, honestly. Mantu in the meanwhile though does at least put down Sunny, and the AWP will rattle off the frag. Looking good. Looking very good for OG. Locking down the round and potentially only 1 casualty. It will only be 1 casualty, and some of those weakened weapons, the SMGs, have now been traded up to AK-47s.
Yeah, that's huge for OG to win around clean like that and get some free upgrades, and it just seemed like FPX got so stalled out. They got that initial entry, and it was looking like the floodgates should well and truly open, but when Mantu maintained presence at lane, even though he missed his shot, he kind of just kept FPX timid. They didn't really want to commit. And then they just kind of got whittled away by indecision. as well as OG being able to get that flank in through middle, which basically had them trapped at A side, and they just couldn't break through. As Nico never really let up on Pit either, so they could just never really get the space they wanted. And again, a lot of these rounds now are coming down to, yeah, they can full buy Vents, but it means their utility is limited, so they can't afford to spend a lot of resources to get some control and not follow it up immediately because then they'll have nothing left over. But that's a big kill for Maiden, which can completely change that.
Yeah, Matt is certainly sending a shiver down the collective spine of OG after that beautiful 1D. Good flashbang. Allows them to bridge the gap. Two players tripping over each other, but Mantu makes sure that the bullet does not miss. Valda burns alive. The double Molotov cooks him. But there is a good HE, a parting gift onto Zen and Sunny before the bomb plant comes in. And alongside that, Sunny decapitates Mantu. They have vanished on the B side, OG. They've been banished away, and their best case scenario now is a save.
Indeed it is, and again, they still haven't built up that much bank to buy around these weapons too much, so they're going to have some tough decisions to make coming into this next round, as FPX will jump up to 12. They're the favorite for a 13th based on economy. But again, it all just depends on how much OG want to commit around these weapons next round. As they just seem to be in such good form on the FPX side of things. Like, everyone's really playing well. Meanwhile, you're seeing Mantu really struggle to get going with the AWP here on the CT side. Nico has struggled to get going in general. And now that it's coming down to those final moments, that individual form is going to have to shape up for OG or they're going to be in trouble. Looks like they are going to bite the bullet here and just go pistols only around the two rifles to make sure they can full buy later. Not a bad call. But it does mean FPX are going to have easy access to a 13th round, lest these two rifles can pop off alone.
All happens. The chain of events started by a very quick Madden 1D on Banana. And quickly that house of cards came falling down around them. OG, as you said, just some pistols alongside those two rifles and hoping for the best. Now they have separated the two rifles. Nico's over on A with the AK, and Issa is using the M4 over on B. Now he does have a couple of bodies around him to try and keep him safe and safeguard him away from any potential damage, but grenades now being exchanged. Smoke down onto the CT side. The fact that the bomb is still middle, though, suggests to me that they're keeping their options open, and this could actually be a fake.
Yeah, absolutely. And with OG having limited resources, they kind of have to bite on pressure a little bit more. They kind of have to gamble. They have to play a bit more gimmicky, which is why you saw them going for a boost inside the site with SSM4. But unfortunately, FPX, knowing that, plays it perfectly, and now they're able to get that entry onto A side. Only Nico is left. He's able to get his kill and get away towards Pit, knowing that Arch Wrap is very much a possibility, which is indeed going to be the case. He's trying to stay alive as he can. He's playing a nice little headshot angle here, and he's popping the domes of his opposition, buying time for a rotation from his teammates. And Nico, oh my goodness, Nico, he is absolutely lighting up the scoreboard. He'll do it all by himself. What an absolute crazy ace at such a pivotal moment for OG. How's he done that, Vince?
I feel like a part of it is his own individual brilliance, but some of that has to come down to FPX, pardon me, just kind of letting that one slip away. No utility on the approach, moving in one by one, no one even shooting towards mini pit. I don't know if it was a lack of communication, if they're all on the wrong page. Like, I have no idea how he's been able to pull that off, but take nothing away from Nico. That is sublime. His aim there was pixel perfect. And now it's given his team not just a chance to come back into this game, but if you can't get inspired by the new guy into their team pulling off something like that, then are you even human? Like, at this stage, surely OG have got so much momentum and motivation behind them.
Oh, you have to imagine there's a fire under them now if there wasn't already one, just based on what's on the line. That gives you that, you know, kick in the rear. You have to imagine it probably kickstarts that confidence back up again, but FPX quickly find themselves a 4-on-2 chance here at the A side, wrapping it around Moto. OG have to worry about their CT spawn being attacked as well as still worrying about Banana itself. So this is going to be very taxing on OG to pick their angles perfectly. We already know Nico's up to the task. He's already done it last round.
It's from the very same position. And now Nico can strike and pivot in with 2 and make it 3 more kills. This man is coming alive and trying to prove a point in the process.
Absolutely is. He has been shocking these last 2 rounds. 8 kills between them in really big buy rounds. And look what it's accomplished. FPX are the ones now all of a sudden having to scramble to afford weaponry coming into this round. They do get a deagle onto Maiden, but that's going to be about it. They have to essentially full save, and that's going to basically concede the tie to OG unless these deagles can come up with something miraculous. And so single-handedly, Nico, with some help from Issa that round, to be fair, able to reel this game back in and get us right down to 12-12. Nico fumbles a nade. I'll forgive him for that one. I think he's earned a little bit of a mishap there. That's okay.
Yeah, as long as that's the only mistake he's making, I think he'll be fine with that. He's like, listen, lads, I just dropped 8 kills, okay? And there's another one. Make it 9. Sure, this is against the Nico. Nico is still putting those bullets into heads. Okay, hold on. Stiko's still in this, but not for much longer. 12-12.
Yep, 10 through 3 rounds there, which has single-handedly boosted him up into the game. Like moments ago, the guy was 5-14. He was struggling. We were talking about his inability to have impact in the game. And right when he's been called upon, he has absolutely stepped up to the plate, and now he's on equal footing with pretty much everyone on his team, tied with the leaders on the frag board for that side. So this is a brilliant kind of resurgence from Nico, which might indeed wind up being an X factor we talk about later as the way that OG wind up securing a playoff spot. But that has yet to be written. Back to buying as FPX.
Elsewhere in Group A, by the way, Heroic beat Complexity 2-1 and clean swept the group stage 5-0. But in the here and now, both teams 2-2. Records identical. Round difference in favor of OG. But they have really started to come back into this one.
Yeah. This is certainly up for grabs now. Big round here as we're seeing FPX try to put that pressure over on middle with Sunny dropping the smoke down, trying to keep people interested on A side while indeed it's going to be a B attack. Let's be though, playing a tricky angle. Depending on timing, it could be huge. A pop flash comes in, he picks the perfect time, doesn't get this kill, but he's able to do damage and get away.
Yeah, information as well, so there's going to be a fast rotation and it keeps 3 players over on the B side. Even though Alexi didn't get kills, it was still very important. That peak was huge. And the damage he inflicted is now being collected by Mantu and the rest of the troops. Valda spray is on point, and it's looking good for OG to now take the lead in this map. Stiko may have a couple of things to say about that one, though, in the meanwhile with his AK. But he is being fended away from Valda, and OG will take the lead, Dust. And what a turnaround this has been. It was, what, 12-7 at one point?
Absolutely, Vince. You are correct. It is kind of crazy what we've seen here recently. I'm kind of awestruck. I mean, it obviously comes down to 2 really big individual plays from Nico, an ace and a hat trick, some help from Issa to force a save. They collect that, and now they get the very next buy around thanks to just playing some great fundamentals on defending that B attack. And now all of a sudden, they're the ones in the lead. They're the ones in control of the game. FPX are the ones that are scrambling to buy here. They only have a couple of Mattins and a couple of Deagles, that 1 hero AK on Madden. They're fighting for some banana control, and they're getting some space, but Valda times out that incendiary perfectly, forces Madden to commit. It's the 1 rifle they had, and now it is truly gone off the table. Maybe with that smoke, they're going to be able to come back and reclaim it. Indeed, Sunny is able to pick it up. So at least they're able to keep that in play, but there's still a man down in a pivotal moment.
Man down and Zen low. Sure, Alexi himself is in an awkward position, but he can now effectively play the more passive role of the Arch Watcher. The second he notices any threat, he can pull back and just keep himself alive. They're in a great spot here, OG. As you said, the buy is rough. It's shambolic from FPX. And they still have to push in. They still have to try and draw away some fire. They've got 2 smokes. They've got a Molotov. That's more than enough for a set play onto the B side. And looks like that will be their final destination. 45 seconds to play with. The flashbang comes out. Mantu takes the shot, falls back, draws them into Valda's fire. And the first frag is good, but both players clump together. It's awkward. And Sunny makes the most of that. He punishes them both down with the flash. They're getting in each other's way. They're actually stalling this bomb plant, and Farlick nearly dies as a result of that.
All going to come down to a retake now, Vince. There's not much utility either for OG to put to use. They have one smoke to block off one angle, and they have the one flash to push with, but low HP all over the place, Vince.
HP is looking pretty dicey for FPX, but they still have the advantage in favor of OG having to push back onto the site. Both players below 30 HP. Now it's down to Farlick. They know where he is, and they've pounced. And they have kits, and they have time. OG just about hold on for dear life, but with a plant, now FPX have a better buy coming through into the next round again.
Yeah, it has breathed new life into them. I'll have to settle for the Ashes. They'll be able to get the full buy here. But this is basically their last chance. If they lose this, OG go up to 15. They're at series point. And while FPX will certainly buy what they can, it'll be far inferior to what they have in front of them now. This is their moment, if there's ever to be one, to hold OG off, to cancel out the big plays from Nico. But they do look a bit shaky, Vince. Other than those couple of kills from Sunny to kind of give them a chance that last round, they have looked really dodgy here recently. Big Nate, though.
Yeah, the touchdown looking good onto Issa and Nico. But I completely agree with you, mate. It has been a really difficult turn of events for FPX after looking great. Oh! And Nico has gone down to the hands of Stiko, and it's just so rough. Just when you start to feel like OG maybe can just accelerate towards the finish line. They do go down a player. Mantu, though, at least brings it back into even and goes one step further. Farlick has been dealt the fatal blow, and he nearly gets another one, but he's pushed back by Stiko.
Yeah, he went for a little bit extra there, and if he would have gotten it, it seems like that would have been maybe one of the final nails in the coffin, but getting caught gives Phoenix a chance, but Valda looking to eradicate that big kill there, and he's even able to get back. There's nothing to stop the cross except for Sunny's AK, which will be good enough. There was no utility still in play for FPX. They had to rely on the frag, and they were able to get it, which means they will be able to get the plant. The retake going to be tough. They both have kits, and they're both coming from Banana side. They do have a smoke to block off CT and coffins, and they could flash their way in. So they do have some options, but it's going to be tough.
Nade's coming in. Trajectory of that smoke will give away that at least one of these players is on Banana. They can hear two footsteps now from two separate players. They know exactly where it's coming from, but that's only half the trouble. And now Stiko at the back of the site, the Newbox can maybe lock this one down. The pre-fire is good onto Issa. And FPX live just about by a thread.
Oh my goodness, that was so close. Stiko, the hero. 4 kills in total on the round. The 2 big ones coming at the end for the clutch. What a spray transfer in the heat of the moment he was able to get. And all of a sudden now, OG's big jump back to the top has been cut down just a little bit with that play from Stiko. They're still out in front. I'm sure they're still feeling pretty good. But in order to be able to afford utility and such, they're having to grab a couple of MP9s. And so that's kind of limiting what firepower they had to bring to the table. Now, same could be said for FPX. They're on a couple of MAC-10s. Both economies are absolutely in shambles after these purchases. And so this round is so huge for whoever the victor might be. Either FPX is probably getting to map point, or OG are looking to cruise to victory still.
In the third decisive map with a playoff spot potentially up for grabs. So much rests on this. Pressure has got to be mounting and swelling on both teams. Mollies are pretty decent. Nico has been forced out of the boiler area at least, and tons of mollies have already been displaced down on towards the short side, but they're not really pushing behind that. Now they're going to go with the flashbangs. Nico, the backside of Porch, gets one, but no, actually doesn't. He gets fragged. I thought he actually fragged down Zen. Instead, he gets finished off by Issa.
Oh no, Issa not able to get away either though is the problem. So the trade actually favors FPX here. They did a great job cutting off the crossfire with that smoke, isolating some 2-on-1s on each side of the map, and now they reap the benefits. There is still the op though inside pit. It's going to be Mantu. He's able to find one, but he goes down to the fire, leaving his team in a tough spot because both players that are left are the ones with the MP9s.
What a shot by Mantu. Farlig, though, comes out with a Galil, and that may be Valda forced into a save. He has an M4, and he wants to dip out of there. He knows the importance of just one weapon. It can make all the difference, but it's likely that will be the only weapon. There will be some decisions, though, available for OG to make. Do they force behind this M4, or do they potentially play for overtime? These will be in the back of their minds. What we do know, though, is FPX, their financial situation is far superior to OG. And just when you thought that OG were going to pull away with this game, another chapter, another twist, another turn have come up.
And nothing has been settled yet, that's for sure. And as you said, OG has some tough decisions to make here on how they want to spend and if they want to play for OT or not. Really tough call. They've been on such a roll lately. Maybe they just want to try to keep it going, but you put yourself in such a dire situation if you force up here and it doesn't work. So it may be for the best just to maybe try something a little bit risky here with what you do have, and then make sure you get the full buy next round to play for the OT. That's exactly what they decided. I think it's a good decision. FPX, great round last round. Very good job at using utility to isolate fights and then win them and roll a main advantage into a victory. That was a very good, clean round from FPX. And that could be just what the doctor ordered right here on the home stretch to put a round together like that. If they can keep that up, they're still very much capable of winning the series.
I mean, I'm feeling tense right now, Dust.
Oh,
I
bet.
can't imagine how the players are feeling right now.
Yeah. So much on the line, and it's so close.
Oh, this is why Valdo wanted to save the M4. He was unfortunate not to get the outright frag. Stiko survives on 3. He has the only bit of utility available for OG with a flashbang. And he falls down into the mini pit. A position where Nico absolutely battered them early. That flash isn't very good. Actually cost Valda because he gets caught with that flashbang out, and they don't even get anything for it. Even if there were players on Archers, he actually flashed Nico. What an awful turn of events. Now, sure, OG only had an M4, so we can't really get too carried away about this outcome. We were kind of half expecting it. But FPX, whichever way you spin it, they're going to have a match point. This is huge.
Absolutely, and they're going to maintain the 4 AKs here. Only the MAC-10 going hunting on Sunny to get even more cash. They're going to have a really good buy going to the next round as far as weaponry and utility goes. It's going to be as ideal as it gets for them. On the other side, yeah, they'll get a buy, but they might have to make some sacrifices here and there, you know, to get the proper utility. So they still might not be in like a true full buy next round. It's a scary bit. I'm not even sure they'll be able to afford not for Mansu, honestly. No, they're not going to be able to, actually. So, even with the heroics of Nico to get them back into contention and even into a lead, it may be all for naught. FPX are now at 15. They had the superior buy coming into this final round of regulation. M4s are coming out, though from OG. No op for Mantu. Again, going to have to make some sacrifices to make sure they can get basic utility, and even then they might be short a couple of players as far as smokes and flashes go. And they only have that one incendiary. It's all down to this fence.
The peak, the smoke will afford Alexi B safe passage back to the side, but he wasn't too far away from being sprayed from Madden, who as ever is at the front of the pack, looking for some bloodshed. And look at this as well, by the way. OG, and what could be the last round, their last play, decide to put one player on B and keep Alexi B alone on the B side. They were thinking about rotating a second player away, but this is coming too late. This read is going to be huge. It's going to be massive. Alexi needs to hold the line against multiple players, and he gets a kill and a lot of damage down onto Stiko. Will that be good enough, though, to remedy the situation, or is this the beginning of the end? FPX are getting more kills. The flashbang is good, and 2 players coming up. Banana lined up for Farlig, and he takes the first one down, and the second. This could be it for OG. Nico is having to somehow pull the rabbit out the hat. He's already done it once today, but under very different circumstances. He was the defender, and now he needs to be the offense. He needs to attack the site, and Farlick drills him down. FPX will take this best of 3. We'll be breaking this down and having an interview